Last week on the Poisonrana Patreon, we talked about TNA Turning Point 2005 in a brand new episode of Reviews from the Six.
Interviewing 4LK, the 4 Live crew. Okay, you recognize everyone in this, but do you know them by their TNA names?
So it's R-Truth, or Ron the Truth Killing.
Ron the Truth Killings, correct.
Who I guess was K Quick and then came here, right?
Yep.
BJ Whitmer, no, what's his name?
BG James.
BG James. Kip Sabian.
Kip James.
The
James Gang.
Okay, they're related now.
In this, they're called, they also spin off to be the James Gang.
And Conan, also known as
Conan.
Yeah. What a squad. What a fucking squad right here.
Get this show, movie reviews, retro NXT reviews, and more at patreon.com/Poisonrana.
Poisonrana.
Hello. Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana, the podcast. You found us on whatever podcast app you are using. Hit that subscribe. And we are live.
Live on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod. Hello, tadpoles.
Hello, tadpoles. Hello, poison pals. Hello, friends. We are here today to chat about some wrestling, and we are going to go in full gear.
AE Dubs.
That's right.
Yes.
We are here to talk all about some AEW Full Gear that just happened last night. And we're gonna dive in on what we liked, what we didn't like, and we're going to talk about some blood drinking.
Blood drinking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was watching that last night, definitely.
Yeah.
Love me some good old blood drinking.
Who doesn't?
Shout out vampires.
Keeps you young.
Yeah, exactly. How do you think you stay so youthful and looking good?
Right.
We're looking good live on YouTube. Hello, anyone watching us on there. Again, hit that subscribe. Poisonrana.ca for everything that we got going on. Some housekeeping. Next week is WWE Survivor Series.
Oh, yes.
War Games. I'm not doing it like Adam Pearce, but I do got to give him credit. He knocked it out of the park.
He's doing well. Yeah.
I thought he does it really nice. We are going to be doing an event, a watch party in the 6 downtown Toronto at Gabby's on King Street West next Saturday night, and tickets are flying.
They are, yeah. They're moving well in this last week, so I'm sure we'll pick up a few more in the next week. I think it's going to be pretty busy. It's going to be a fun time there at Gabby's.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to be chatting all about. We're going to be hanging out with a bunch of you people, some listeners. I know some of our friends are coming down. We're going to have some wrestling themed drink. Have you worked? You're doing some of the similar ones.
We're doing the same as before.
Yeah,
it's already in the system.
So the Pepsi Plunge is on the list.
Pepsi Plunge, yeah. The Brooks Jensen, the KOD.
Right.
What else is there? The Samoan Spike.
The Brooks Jensen though is it not a virgin drink anymore?
Is he like?
He's posting photos on social media with his lovey-dovey, so maybe
you might need to spike it. Yeah.
So we're gonna.
So you'd say he's a bit of a mule now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that he gets that Journey song, and then his career is going to be.
His career will skyrocket.
I swear it will. I swear, just give him Journey.
I feel like that's going to be quite expensive. No.
Look, if TK can do it.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
come on.
That's true.
This guy's buying people themes. Why can't you, Triple H?
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We've also got some prizes we're giving away. We've just been gifted 3 pairs of tickets to the Destiny /OVW show at the Battle Arts Academy.
Yeah. So in a few weeks, in
December 3rd.
Yeah, December 3rd, OVW from The Wrestlers on Netflix. You know, we've kind of been catching up watching that show. They're going to be joining Destiny Wrestling in Mississauga, Ontario at the Don Kolov Arena. And we got some tickets to be giving away for some people next week at our Survivor Series watch party in Toronto. So some people will be going to that show. Spoilers, we're going to be going to see OVW live. I know you want to see Al Snow so bad.
Our favorite promotion. Yeah. We were both trying to work out the other day. Have we ever seen Al Snow live? Like, I feel I have, but also I feel it was just, I've told you before about these weird wrestling shows we used to get back in the day.
Yeah.
Like big time American wrestling, it used to be called. And you'd get like fake Kane, fake LOD, fake Undertaker, fake X-Pac. And always on the posters was Gangrel
Yeah.
and Al Snow with head.
Right.
So I feel like I've seen him, but I also feel like maybe I'm just thinking of those posters where they just stuck his face on it. Because, Al Snow's a legend in this business and a huge draw.
I don't think he's going to be wrestling, but he'll be there because he's kind of their like GM. But yeah, I wish I got to see him wrestle live. But I've been definitely addicted to this Netflix show, The Wrestlers.
It's been really fun, yeah.
And like watching this show about OVW in Kentucky, I joked to you like, oh man, it'd be great. Let's do a little road trip down to Kentucky to watch one of these shows.
Hell yeah.
We don't even have to now because they're coming here.
They're coming here
to Toronto. And I as soon as they announced this and we found out we were going to be going, I was like, okay, like Haley J, she's going to be there. She's the big draw, right? Yeah. But is Cash Flow going to be
I think we're
there?
seeing Cash Flow.
I get to see Cash Flow. I'm going to lose
no
it.
W.
Just and dollar sign.
And a dollar
sign, no W.
He's like him and Shearer, but I think like Shearer's still like in his prime, whereas Cash Flow
is not
like
in his
still to reach his prime.
Right. Yeah. Right.
No, he's
Cash
such
Flow.
a baby face on this show, and like
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him.
Yeah. I don't want to like jinx anything, but I would love to party with the OVW people.
Yeah.
Some of them. Some of them.
Some can.
Yeah, some can stay.
Some aren't welcome.
Some can go in the bin.
So yeah, we'd love anyone who's coming to our event next week has a chance of winning a pair of these tickets. We're also giving away some lucha masks again.
That's right.
We've given some away in the past. This is like an example of what you could be getting.
Wow.
We've got a couple of Rey Mysterio masks. We've also got hot off his match on SmackDown with Axiom, which I haven't seen yet, but I do want to. We've got a couple of Dragon Lee masks as well. We're giving away as well. And some more prizes to be announced within the next week. So, really looking forward to this. Lots of reasons for you to come and hang out with us.
Yeah, we have a ton of fun. Obviously, if you're not in the Toronto area, we'll come to your city one day, maybe soon. Because we've done now. We're international. We've done these all over the place. New York, Toronto, London. We're all over.
Will we be doing France?
I'm gonna probably pass on that one.
You don't want to go to Backlash in France?
Is that what the show is? Yeah. No.
I think that's awesome though.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's amazing.
They're doing these like European cities and
are we getting
across the world and everything.
like Puerto Rico had the return of Carlito and Savio Vega. So like France, we're getting Rene Dupree. La Resistance.
Was he even French?
French Canadian?
Okay.
Doesn't count.
Yeah.
The money-making fighting Legionnaires.
Yeah. Sebastien Lefort?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Something like Sylvester Lefort.
Sylvester Lefort and Marcus Louis?
Yeah, there you go. They're
there
French.
I'll hit them up.
Yeah.
See if they're going to be there.
They should be part of that show. But yeah, France doing where in France? Is it near Paris?
I'm trying to remember. Was it Lyon they're going to?
Lyon.
France WWE Backlash. In Lyon.
Okay.
In the Lyon commune of de Seine-Chapeau.
Excuse me?
I'm going to pronounce it properly here, okay? Dekines Charpieu is where they're playing.
That's crazy. WWE announcing that they're doing that. And then like on top of that, you got the Bash in Berlin a few months later, like SummerSlam in Cleveland.
Yeah.
They're going all over the world.
There's a great joke in Only Fools and Horses where Del Boy asked Rodney, what's the French for duck à l'orange? And Rodney goes, canard. He's like, you can say that again, bruv.
I don't think we'll be making the trip for that, but I'm sure there's big amounts of wrestling fans over in Europe.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Like, I'm sure it'll be a pretty fun show. But yeah, we'll be doing our Survivor Series watch party next week. We will be live on Tuesday night for a new episode of Up Next, covering everything that's going on in the world of NXT as we kind of get closer and closer to deadline from Bridgeport in a few weeks. So we got Tuesday night Up Next. We have
we'll be doing our Survivor Series preview then as well. Predictions. We might still have a couple of matches to be announced, but I think we'll give our predictions on Tuesday as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about some preview for Survivor Series on Tuesday. And then on this feed, check out Shot in the Dark every Thursday. John Cena fills you in on all the wrestling that you may or may not watch. Ring of Honor, MLW, which I think is a wrestling show. I'm not really sure. NWA, Impact, everything else. He'll cover it in 15 minutes. Wow. Yep. This weekend's was actually pretty good. The wrestling has stepped up. I think they've definitely heard some of the criticism.
Nice.
And like started booking like some people that can actually wrestle.
Okay.
So I liked this week. We had the was it Gloria something? I don't know, but it was great. So listen to Cino chat all about that every week on Shot in the Dark. I just dropped on this feed a detox with myself and Jordan Goodman. Congrats, Jordan. If you know, you know. But yeah. Are we allowed to? I don't know if we're allowed to.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's engaged, so good for him.
Congratulations, Jordan.
I don't think he'd be mad.
Wedding coming to a rainforest cafe somewhere near you.
Yeah. We're gonna host it, right? I hope he pays. We'll host his wedding at a rainforest cafe.
You could just pay for us to go there.
Yeah. I don't know which one he'd do it at, but it has to be at a rainforest cafe. I
assume Baltimore.
I don't think there's one there.
You don't think there's a rainforest cafe in Baltimore?
I don't know if there's any rainforests in Baltimore.
Well, you know, the Rainforest Cafe aren't in places where rainforests are.
No, it's a real rainforest.
I'm pretty sure I went to one in a mall in Dubai.
There's one in Niagara Falls. So
there's one in Atlantic City. Maybe that's
where
we're going. That's easy for us. We can just hop on the Porter.
Yeah, let's go.
Get there.
Exactly.
Easy peasy.
So Jordan and I did a detox. We chat about a whole lot of things, including some of your listener questions, which I absolutely love. So we had a gas and a few laughs on that show. So listen to that. As not a lot of wrestling. Actually, Jordan does bring up, first time ever, he's like, yo, I watched Dynamite and I want to talk about it. I was like, what kind of show is this? So listen to that show. Also, we got some shows over on the Patreon. We just recorded a show with the infamous Brandon from New Jersey, where he picked a movie that is very dear to his heart and wanted us to review with him, a movie called Krull.
Yeah.
Krull.
This was fantastic. I can't wait. Guys, you've got a little tip. You will learn this on the show, but we're going to drop this review tomorrow. And so you have time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, today is pretty chill. Like, not a whole lot going on if you don't watch NFL.
Yeah.
So, you know, get yourself on YouTube, and for $1 Canadian, 99 cents, you can get this film to rent. But they don't give it to you for 1 day. They don't give it to you for 2 days. They give it to you for 4 weeks.
They're like, keep it.
So you can watch this film as many times as you want for just $1.99 Canadian.
So we watched this movie and then we talked all about it. And yeah, I can tell why Brandon was a big fan of this as a kid. It's like Star Wars meets
Robin Hood versus
like medieval Lord of the Rings type thing from like 1983.
One of the first films that Pissy Pants ever did. One of the first films that Hagrid ever did. This is fantastic.
Take a shot every time you, me, or Brandon reference Liam Neeson's dick.
Yeah.
There's a warning for the review. There you go.
Super fun review. Brandon, obviously, always very entertaining whenever he calls it SmackDown, whenever he's trained after his reviews. And of course, Eagles Don't Hunt Flies, the show he does on this very feed with Martin Bushby and Dickie Bird, talking about the life and career of John Moxley / Dean Ambrose. Go listen to their chat all about the Brock Lesnar Dean Ambrose feud from WrestleMania 32. If you haven't already, fantastic listen on this feed.
Yes, so lots and lots of podcasts. This upcoming week, we got a busy week, though, on our Patreon. We had just done a review of TNA Turning Point 2005, which was a great show to go back and watch. That was for free to watch on their YouTube as well. But this upcoming week, we are going to be doing a new best match ever with Karen Peterson joining us to talk all about the best of Kairi Sane.
Can't wait for this one. One of our favorites. You see her just hiding just behind me, wearing an Asuka mask. Kairi's a favorite of ours at Poisonrana, and Karen is the expert out there. So she's selected some matches from Stardom. We're looking at her career outside of WWE, and we'll be dropping kind of the list tomorrow for you to check out some of these matches. They're all available somehow, somewhere online. So some really fantastic stuff. And maybe if you're, kind of not as familiar with her, because I wouldn't say she's had like a crazy run on the main roster thus far.
No.
Like she had the kind of tag stuff when she moved up, but was definitely kind of the background player, I thought, to Asuka. And it was like pandemic era and all that. So excited to see what they do with her now with Papa Paul in charge.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're huge fans of Kairi, of Io, and we did the best match ever Io, where we looked at the best of her stuff before coming to WWE. And some of those matches were incredible. But if you've not seen some of both Kairi and Io's work before WWE, like there is some incredible stuff. So we have a little bit of a wrestling book club where we tell you what matches we're going to talk about. And then we talk about it, rate, review, and rave with Karen, as we're going to definitely nerd out over some Joshi wrestling and Kairi Sane, which I can't wait, because are we going to be looking at Io versus Kairi?
We are looking at Io versus Kairi.
One of the best matches I've ever seen in my entire life. So
during the pandemic, we were like locked in a basement watching a lot of old wrestling.
Yeah.
And Io versus Kairi from 2016 or whatever
Something
it
like
was became our match of the year 2020.
Because we were like, this is incredible.
This is great. This is great.
So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun chatting about Kairi with Karen. I can't wait. She is definitely the expert. So huge shows coming out this week.
As well as it is Survivor Series season, we put it to you, the listeners, the members of our Facebook group, to pick a classic Survivor Series for us to talk all about. And you have selected Survivor Series 1996.
Yeah, we put this to a Facebook poll, a TAD poll, and you guys selected this pay-per-view, which off the top of my head, I can't really say. I know it has Austin Brett.
It's got Austin Brett, and it's got Shawn Michaels versus Sid. But I've always known, someone says Survivor 96, the first thing that comes to my head is the debut of The Rock.
Oh, it's
Rocky
this show.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Wow. Interesting.
So from Madison Square Garden in 96.
Wow. I don't think I've watched this show front to back. So
I think I've seen it once years ago, because when I was like a big Rock fan and found out that this was his debut, I kind of watched the whole show, but haven't gone back to see it since. So really looking forward to that, especially Bret Hart versus Austin, because I know both in interviews, they both said like, yeah, Mania match is good, but we're really proud of this match.
This one's really good. I remember I think we've briefly talked about it on a show before, but now we're going to do the whole show. So Survivor Series 96 review coming out this week. Get your feedback in if you are a fan of this particular show. So lots of shows on our Patreon. It's only $5. Sign up and support your boys, because it keeps the lights on.
It does
keeps,
indeed.
Our fridge is full, and it keeps us continuing to podcast. So yeah, excellent. So we got some wrestling to chat about today. Should we briefly discuss the game of Russian roulette we played the other day?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You guys want to hear a funny story?
Yeah. So if you follow my Instagram, you might see that I quite enjoy cooking. I like kind of seeing something I like or trying something when I'm out and whatever, and be like, I want to recreate that. Or sometimes you just have like, tastes crash in your head and you're like, I wonder if this works.
Right.
So last week I cooked like slow roasted pork butt, made like pulled pork pasta,
it was
French
amazing.
onion soup.
It was really good,
which was really tasty.
Phenomenal.
Did like a kind of piri chicken the other day, and then I was like, you know what? I want to try and make some like a hot fried chicken sandwich, because we were watching this video on Hot Ones the other day of these two girls kind of trying out the best hot chicken in New York,
Brooklyn. Yeah.
So I tried it and made like a cornflake crust with it all, and looked real good. And then we're about halfway through the sandwich, and I'm like, I don't think this is cooked all the way through. And you're like, no, it's good. But the thing is, you've got the bun, you've got like the special mustard, the tomato, the lettuce, the cheese,
right?
The like crunchy friedness. So it took us a little bit of time before we realized, this is not cooked.
So ate about half of a uncooked chicken sandwich, and then like we're both about to like get ready to go to work, go to our separate jobs, and I was like, all right, well, I guess this is pretty much how Russian roulette is played because we're gonna find out how our nights go.
Maybe goodbye, Braden, but like, hopefully see you on the other side.
So I felt fine until maybe last night, right as the main event of the pay-per-view hit.
Right.
All of a sudden, I'm like, I don't feel too good, but nothing like out of the ordinary. You know, I eat sometimes garbage anyways, but I was like, I don't know if that was what caused it, but I'm okay today. I think I'm okay. I don't think you ended up.
I think it would have been worse. If, like, I think, like, because we both, you know, had the booze a little bit today. But also we were like eating, like I worked last night and I had to somehow cram this like 5-hour pay-per-view in between like getting home after 4 a.m. and starting the show at 3 and, you know, hopefully sleeping at some point. So I was kind of wired after work. So I watched like 2 matches last night and you bring out the fucking egg rolls and the pizza and all that. So,
it could be
you know, I'm like, I did also at work have a quesadilla and before work have like pasta and all that. So I'm like, it could just be, you know, eating a lot at almost sunrise.
Yeah, exactly. So it's probably, I feel like if it were to have been the actual uncooked chicken, that I think we would definitely be feeling
it's pretty good though, wasn't it?
It was for it was just
sometimes we like our
medium rare,
our hot chicken sandwiches medium rare. Yeah, exactly.
No, you are a fantastic cook, and I don't want people to think that you were trying to. I mean, I'm hopefully thinking you were trying to kill me.
My issue, like, we don't have a deep fat fryer,
right?
So we don't have like the thermometer, so we can't really monitor the oil,
right?
And I think I was like the oil was way too hot, so it was burning. It was going to burn the outside. Whereas the only time I've ever really done that before is when I've done schnitzel, which is super thin.
Yeah, so it cooks quick.
So like you just flash it pretty much and it's done. So my bad.
No. You look,
why you cut a sandwich in half, I think. Like I'll learn in the future. Like check first. Just
or also like
it's probably good.
I blame myself too. Like I'm like, oh fuck yeah, sandwich, thank you. And I'm like start eating, I'm like gobbling it down. I'm fucking halfway through when you're like, and then I look, I'm like, I ate half of this, and then I looked at it, like, oh, okay. Yeah. But so when you went to work, what was your mindset like?
So the thing is, it's like, you know, like it's kind of going back to the pandemic or whatever, and someone like texts you being like, by the way, just to let you know, I've tested positive.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're like, is my throat scratchy? Like anything that's slightly off, like you sneeze and it's just because dust went up your nose and you're like, I've got COVID.
Right.
And that was the thing. It was like, I went to work and was like, was my tummy feeling like this before I ate that sandwich? Was it not? And your mind is just playing tricks on you. And then as soon as I got busy at work, I forgot about it. I was like, I guess I'm fine.
Well, I'm having a coffee right now, so anytime during this show, I'll just disappear.
Yeah, one of us might disappear at some point during this show.
Go to the bathroom. But
we're about to talk about, you know, men stapling pictures to their heads and barbed wire wrapped around their face and stuff. And here we are, can't even get through a chicken sandwich.
That would be a real death match if you're like you're like putting someone through tables and beating them up with chairs, and you're like sticking raw chicken in their mouth. That's why I shouldn't be a wrestler.
Right there, isn't it? It was zone wrestling.
It was a good sandwich though.
Thank you. I'll try it again at some point.
Yeah, just don't kill me.
Yeah. We need a sturdier bun as well. That bun kind of disintegrated.
Because I was at work and similar thing. I'm like, I'll be fine. You know, I'm a pretty easygoing person. I'm like, I'll be fine. And like, I didn't necessarily feel it, but then like later in my shift, when I guess like it was like slowing down, I'm like, oh no, like, is it gonna affect me? Am I gonna die? And then like nothing happened, so I'm fine.
But like for the gram, it looked great.
Yeah. They could only see the inside of that chicken.
Yeah.
Uncooked. So cook your chicken, guys, or don't. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or eat veg, whatever.
I do kind of like. I know they say like they recommend chicken thighs because it's way like more juicy and flavorful. There's something I like about a chicken breast because I know it's cooked. A thigh is like because it's like juicier and stuff. Like it. I find it a bit more difficult to tell.
Yeah. That's why I thought your sandwich was just like extra. Oh wow, he really got this down.
Yeah.
I mean, in Japan, there is like weird places that you can get like raw stuff, like obviously sushi and fish and stuff, but there was chicken stuff that I saw. I didn't try it. I've done it with like beef, and there's certain cuts of beef that, you know, people eat like really thinly sliced it as like raw or whatever and stuff. There's like delicacies and stuff, but when it comes to raw chicken, I don't think necessarily I would choose to eat that. So yeah, be safe out there, folks.
Yeah.
All right, now we're survived that, and we can talk about some wrestling.
Let's do it.
Should we talk about some AEW Full Gear?
Yeah.
That happened last night from the Kia Forum. Is that the right place? The Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. Inglewood, always up to no good. First of all,
LA, essentially. Yeah.
This is pretty much LA, right? This is like just outside. It's not necessarily in the hood, but kind of near the hood, sort of. No,
isn't it Inglewood? I mean, LA is huge, but it's Disney in Inglewood. I think they've got a bunch of studios around this area as well.
I saw the AEW talent all day were posting like at Universal or something, Warner Brothers stuff. So possibly that it was close by to them there. I got beef with the Kia Forum.
Right.
I hated this setup of hard cam.
It was strange, yeah.
It was annoying. It was like it kept bothering me. I don't know if it's like ADHD was kicking in, where we've been to so many indie shows and we watch sometimes indie shows where the hard cam is not showing the crowd but showing like your security guards or your doors or whatever. And that's how this show kicked off. So I was watching the pre-show, and right away I was like, oh, okay, the lights are on though, because like people are still finding their seats. They'll turn it off. And then when the main show started, the first thing you see is like exit sign. It's like, you didn't think to cover that up, or did not no one look at that? You
can't cover an exit sign.
I guess,
Yeah, I don't, but I assume it would look the same on the other side as well.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have the hard cam opposite the stage, because then you'll have cameras where the stage is. So I guess this was the only thing they could do, unless they configure it like the MSG, like short entrance, and you kind of have the entrance through that. That's the only thing you maybe could have done.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've seen this at a couple of AEW arenas. I don't really think there's much you can do, although I'd be interested if how WWE kind of dress this arena, because I don't really know the way around it. I think it's just the logistics of the arena.
You just have to do it,
And I guess Kia Forum want Kia being advertised, and
I'm definitely nitpicking, but it's something I noticed through the night.
It was strange.
It was like I'm trying to watch, these guys murder each other while I'm distracted, because in the same shot, it's like this couple like, oh, is this our seats over there? Oh, let me talk to the security guard. It's like, guys, sit down. I'm trying to watch the wrestling.
That being said, this is one of the better attended pay-per-views for a long time.
Exactly.
And I thought they did some great shots showing that this place is pretty full. I know they opened up more sections over the week. On Cage Match, it's saying 12,904. So pretty healthy attendance, considering how TV especially has been in the last few months.
But that's kind of where I'm getting at, is like, here you have almost 12,000 people around there, and it looked kind of bad on your hard cam. It didn't look like there was a lot of people in that one specific shot that it kept like annoying me. And like, there's people walking by. I'm trying to watch. I don't know. It's distracting. It's the same thing at wrestling in indie shows specifically. It's like WWE would never do that. I think back to the MSG shows where you'd always see someone like run by the entrance ramp or whatever. But this was like the whole show was like people doing this. So definitely I'm just being like a negative Nancy, but it is something that I kept noticing. But damn hard cam in the Kia Forum. But the show itself kicked off where there was a pre-show with was it 0 hour, the buy-in, whatever they want to call this?
Tell me all about Buddy Matthews versus Claudio.
You know what? That was fine. It was a pretty quick, there's like 10-minute match where they had some cool spots. It's definitely gearing up for some sort of House of Black versus Blackpool Combat Club story.
/ best friends versus Blackpool Combat.
They're always, they're just angry and fighting everyone all the time. But yeah, I feel like Danielson versus Malachi Black was maybe the match that was supposed to be for this pay-per-view. Obviously, his face had other plans, so that's probably going to be pushed back a little bit. But I imagine it happens in this tournament.
It could be in the Continental Classic.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston also beat Jay Lethal to retain the Ring of Honor World title there. I don't think anyone thought he was going to lose it.
Yeah.
But Jay Lethal being the Ring of Honor guy, I guess. And then we had MJF in his Lakers gear with his partner Samoa Joe with matching Lakers gear, taking on the Guns, and Joe helped MJF beat the Guns, and then right after was like, okay, now you owe me my match.
And MJF shakes his hand.
He's like, yeah, all right. And then he left, and then he got his ass beat, and Joe didn't run out for the save.
I thought Joe was awesome in this match.
Yeah.
obviously MJF had the main event later, so they were kind of, Joe was taking the bulk of it, but I thought he looked great, and I think his personality comes through so much, and he's really essentially a baby face now at this point. Love, he always does the sort of the tope suicida walk away spot.
Yeah.
But I loved when he did it to Colton's missile dropkick.
Yeah.
Just walked away from that. I thought he looked great here. And was a pretty fun match. But the big thing being the kind of angle coming out of it with the Guns attacking MJF's leg.
Yeah, so they attack his leg and they beat him up with a chair and they load him into an ambulance. Adam Cole is there. He's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So the pre-show ends with MJF being loaded into the back of an ambulance, screaming at Adam Cole, like, please don't let them take away my title, please.
Yeah.
And he's like, I won't let that happen. I won't let that happen. And then that was the end of the pre-show.
Yeah.
I got to give him kudos for attempting, like, someone watching that, like, multiple people watching that went, oh, now I have to see what the hell's going on. So, like, okay, doing angles like that on your Sunday Night Heat kind of thing is fine. But I didn't like how everything kind of ended up with that storyline. They're definitely putting, like, red herrings here, red herrings there, throwing things around. And by the end of it, we didn't resolve anything, I thought. So kind of definitely stringing you along a little bit for no real big, like, reveal or anything, just a classic he comes back.
Yeah, I don't know if we were getting are you talking like the devil reveal, essentially?
The devil, or like something. It kept feeling like it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, and then just, oh, nothing happened. It's kind of how I felt. But maybe when we get to the main event.
There, because I do disagree with you.
Sure.
But maybe get to there when we get to the main event.
Absolutely.
I liked the angle. I thought it really reminded me of sort of the like Austin
Attitude
angle.
Era pay-per-views.
Like I'm thinking specifically Survivor Series, 99, where Austin gets hit by the car, and then you're going, what's going to happen with the main event? I think it was kind of smart doing it on the pre-show, because, you're putting 3 matches on there. For some people who are not sure if they want to buy the pay-per-view, I've seen 3 good wrestling matches, that might be enough. But having a hook like that, I didn't mind it.
I like that they did that for the thing. I just think later on it was a little too like, oh, okay, well, sure, could have just had the fucking match then. Instead of making me sit there for an hour thinking, hey, is anything actually going to happen? Or are you just going to sell your leg when you feel like it? I don't know. But I did really enjoy how that kind of set the tone. And again, like, felt like those classic WWF attitude where the story, he's the main character of AEW, he's the champion. So it's like, you see kind of through the night, like, oh, what's going to happen kind of thing. That's always good in wrestling. So you can't knock that for sure. But the actual pay-per-view kicked off with Sting, Darby Allin, and don't call him Edge, Adam Copeland. He even changed his Instagram handle
to Don't Call Me Edge.
No, he changed. It was Rated R Edge before, and now it's like Rated R Cope. It's really, really trying with that one. They're taking on the team of the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne, who came out to the Christian choir. Is this an orphanage?
Yeah,
I want to imagine it's an orphanage.
I think they said it's an orphanage or something that Christian like donates to. Like, I just picture it as this evil orphanage ran by, Miss Hannigan from Annie.
Right.
And I thought it was great. Christian, just his poise is so great. He looks like such a prick. The fact that the turtleneck kind of naturally lifts his chin the whole time, so he just looks so like smug, like he's looking down on you the whole time.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. Adam Copeland, it's still like not quite clicking with me. I thought it was cool, like the entrance, all 3 coming out to Metalingus. I do love both Sting and Darby's themes, so sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'm robbed of that. But I thought it looked cool, them coming out as a trio. And also, for the first time, this was a good attendance for Edge's entrance, because we've seen him go like, I'm going to this side, and that's it. Whereas this time and this is where you go, oh, this show looks great. Like, he was, because you saw the full scope of how well sold this event was.
Yeah.
And I quite liked Edge's gear and doing the the face paint.
The face paint, the bat touching.
So, but it also did feel like, okay, you're playing the role of CM Punk.
Yeah.
Here with Sting and Darby.
Yeah. I thought his gear looked good too. Yeah. Definitely kind of not up to maybe some of the other like big Sting things, but they're pushing like, hey, this is the last time he's here kind of thing. I think they could have hit me over the head a bit more with that actually. I kind of like forgot until the end when Darby's like, yo, wake the fuck up. I'm like, oh yeah.
I feel like, and that's why maybe as cool as it was them having having the joint entrance, you kind of feel like maybe start with Sting with the snow and everything. Yeah. Sting comes out and then you think you knew him.
Yeah.
And then they both come out, like, because I think you should make it big. Ric Flair had his own entrance.
Yeah.
He wasn't running around to Alter Bridge, was he?
No. Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right. I think they should have built like this is his last entrance in California.
Yeah.
Because I love Darby at the end here where he was like what the fuck? Give Wake this up. Man some fucking respect. He ain't coming to your state again. And everyone's like, oh shit, yeah, Sting. But
yeah,
I'm with you.
I didn't mind this match. I thought they did a good job of Christian being the chicken shit running away from Edge. Like anytime Edge was in and Christian was in and tagged, he kept avoiding him. The finish happens when Christian's just like, I'm out of here. I'm not fighting here. And I think that was smart because it just leads you to go, okay, well, now you got to do this match. And it's going to happen eventually. It may be World's End or maybe on a TV thing, Winter's Coming or something. But I did enjoy that. There was some good chemistry between some of the guys. Nick Wayne definitely has stepped up. His gear looks a lot better. Almost Shawn Michaels inspired there. Mm-hmm. But Luchasaurus with that choke slam to Darby on the apron was insane.
And he's getting on a plane after to go to
Everest? And then Tony Schiavone's like, just to let everyone know, after he took this crazy bump that they replayed a bunch, they're like, Darby's supposed to get on a red eye tonight because tomorrow he's climbing Mount Everest. He's probably climbing it right now.
Ridiculous. Where we're not sure if we're going to survive from an egg roll or a chicken sandwich. Darby's getting choke slammed on aprons and climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
What did you do today, guys?
I hope he survives this climb. That sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he's got a whole team with him and stuff, but wow, it's pretty scary. But yeah, this match was fun. Didn't live. It felt like a fun Dynamite match. It didn't get too crazy, but it did its job.
I thought it was right to open the show with this. I thought this was good, way to start. You get Ric Flair's entrance, you get the Edge song, and I thought it was fun. Edge, I think he's still got it in ring. I thought that with his WWE run, but I feel they want to tell this long story with him and Christian and they're going to delay this match more and more and more, which for the sake of the story, okay. But also I want to see him mix it up with these other people as well. You got to have the match and you got to get to it. And I'm hoping we don't go much further than World's End.
Right.
Have it on that pay-per-view, but I'm ready to see Edge mix it up with more interesting people, enter the Continental Classic and face people like, Andrade and Eddie Kingston and these kind of people. I feel he feels a bit like a bit of a Edge tribute act, and he's lost his name.
Right. Yeah, I feel like he could be doing more matches on TV. That might get people a bit more behind him a little bit because he's really just come in and done that one match, and he's in the Collision tag that was similar to this, right? But come on, it's not the same as some of the do some one-on-ones. I'm sure we'll get Nick Wayne versus Edge. He'll crush him and stuff. But go to some of these matches. Let's see some. Or
do the Christian match at Winter is Coming. Have it as a huge TV main event, and then let's move on.
Yeah.
Because I like him, and I feel he's got. I think back to his last WWE run, that Hell in a Cell against Seth was excellent. I thought, and he's still very capable in ring. And he's a good actor, so can carry a program. I feel Christian's just outshining him, and Edge hasn't necessarily evolved at all.
Yeah, Christian's found his evolution here ever since coming in here. He was kind of doing that when he first came in. He's just I'm Christian. Remember? Yeah. And then now he's found his own kind of creation of this guy who hates people's dads. So I love that. I loved Christian getting his revenge on Ric Flair, though.
Yes.
Did you realize that callback? It's from the Randy?
Yeah, thing? It was the from pandemic era where Christian was in an unsanctioned match against Randy, and that's where Ric Flair, I think, joined Randy by hitting him with a low blow.
So Christian was like, "Not this time, bitch!"
Yeah,
low blowed him, and
then
Ric Flair selling it. Yeah, Ric Flair's suit was nice. I enjoyed that purple thing.
Sure.
So yeah, that started off the show, and then we went into the Orange Cassidy putting his international title on the line against Jon Moxley, and pretty good match here. Definitely not at the level, I think, of the last time these two had a pretty violent match and got into it, but still some great back and forth. But I'd say pretty shocking fashion with the beach break 1, 2, 3, pinning Moxley pretty cleanly here in like 12 minutes.
I mean, Mox had his head against the exposed turnbuckle twice.
Fair, okay.
And then had 6 orange punches followed by a beach break. So it's they did the finish in a way to protect Mox in a way, but also like it wasn't like Cassidy using dirty tactics. I really enjoyed the match. I really liked their all-out match. I thought that was excellent. I thought this was close to being there, and I think it was the right decision having Cassidy win. Kind of, now he deserves that championship is the story. But I really liked it. It's crazy. Like as we mentioned earlier, Eagles don't hunt flies. Talking about Ambrose versus Lesnar, and you think about Ambrose in WWE, and especially in that match, just this guy being ragdolled, this smaller guy, and then you see him in AEW against the likes of an Orange Cassidy, and he just looks like a beast.
He's gotten a lot bigger since being in AEW, yeah.
And I think they're like the haircut and everything helps make him look more intimidating. But yeah, I think these two have great chemistry. I love seeing the evolution of Orange Cassidy and how he can, his whole gimmick makes complete sense. And I think anyone sort of who doesn't get it now are stupid.
Yeah.
It's the whole lazy thing works. I think when he fires up, it makes me really care about this guy. And I'd love to see him in the world title picture at some point.
I think this was the right call. He shouldn't have lost that title. Looking kind of back at the Moxley didn't need it in the first place. Moxley, you can put him against anyone, and he's instantly like simply a draw and puts on a pretty good match. But
if the injury hadn't happened, Mox would have never dropped it, and this would have been Cassidy winning it off of him.
Yes,
so it feels a bit weird when you're retaining against someone and get the victory.
Yeah.
I think under the circumstances, I think they did a good job in kind of retconning and everything.
Yeah, I think so too. But I'm kind of more intrigued to kind of let them go away from each other now, because I want Orange to go back on that run he was doing. He was really impressive and getting like your TV matches were amazing. So, and then Moxley, again, he can go and feud with anyone. And maybe the House of Black is something they're going to go towards. But I still enjoyed this match.
And I love how they still play up the Utah best friends thing.
Right, yeah.
Utah being the one who left them to join BCC. There's still that animosity. You get the sense maybe Mox is done with it, but Utah's still like, no, fuck you guys. Fuck you, Trent.
Yeah, possibly. We go to Toni Storm, timeless Toni Storm here in Hollywood, taking on versus Hikaru Shida, who's putting her title on the line against Toni Storm with Luther. Maria, what's the May? Maria May?
Mariah May?
Mariah Carey May. Yeah. She was backstage watching this, kind of teasing that maybe she would get involved. That doesn't happen. Instead, a silver plate.
Bum plate.
I've heard of like butt lifts, but butt plates.
Yeah.
It's kind of a new one for me. This match was good. I don't think it got into maybe the level I thought it was going to get. It got a little silly with the Luther stuff. And then, unfortunately, putting the plate in her tights when it's like sticking out for like a while and then hits her with that move was kind of weird.
The refs missed a lot on this show.
Yeah.
This was fine. I kind of... I'm kind of cold on Hikaru Shida. I think she's good, but I haven't really seen much evolution from her over the years.
Sure.
And Toni Storm, this gimmick is getting over and people love it. For me, it's treading a line, and it's a little bit too ridiculous now compared to where it started. So I'm looking forward to see what happens with the whole like Mariah May story.
It's reminding me of EO right now. It's like, oh, you're the heel, but you're the most popular character in this division, and you're the one people want to cheer for, but you're winning by cheating. So it's like, oh,
yeah. And I wonder how long it'll go like this before they just have her as a baby face, because I assume Mariah May, is that her name?
Let's go.
It's Mariah May. Let's go with it. I assume she'll be the heel in the story when they go to that. But I'm also, ready for Athena to come back. What's she doing on ROH?
She's busy with Ronda.
Yeah, like
we'll talk about that maybe later.
Yeah, but I feel like that would freshen up this division a bit if you had like a Toni Storm Athena feud going forward.
Okay. Yeah. Toni Storm is still one of the best wrestlers, and I love that she totally recreated herself in AEW. And it's like she left WWE because she didn't like doing silly shit, and then comes to AEW and she's doing silly shit, but it's working. So
it's her silly shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of already almost over the silliness of the character, but I think if they tweak it another way and make her the baby face, then it could work. It's kind of like, obviously the comparisons to Goldust are there with the entrance and the whole thing, but it's kind of like that. Like Goldust would be a heel, but then it's like, no, we like this guy, so let's make him a good guy. That's kind of bizarre. So I think that'll be the route they go. We had a 4-way for the tag team championships in a ladder match. Big Bill and Ricky Starks putting the titles on the line against Rush and Dralistico, FTR, and Kings of the Black Throne. And this was pretty crazy. There was lots of crazy ladder bumps and insanity where guys are flying all over the place. Some spots that definitely stayed in my head were Brody King just getting annihilated on that ladder.
Yeah, the Gonzo bomb through the ladder to, was it Dralistico?
Oh my God. Yeah, that was insane. And then FTR hair, Cash, doing all sorts of jumping stuff off the top through the ladder and stuff. That was pretty crazy. I thought FTR definitely were just doing the most in this match, but then it was Big Bill and Ricky who kind of picked up the win at the end, with Big Bill lifting Ricky up. Classic TLC 2 vibes with Rhino. Lifting him up on the shoulders, and for him to nail Cash with the title, and then grabs the belt and wins it, and they retain. This was good. It didn't get up to the level of some of the crazy insanity level of some of the ladder matches that we've seen, but there were insanity spots in it. So definitely still enjoyed it. Really liked it. Don't get me wrong. But
I kind of felt with this how I feel about most ladder matches in the last 10 years, where some crazy spots I've already forgotten about it.
Yeah.
I
think I would have preferred if this one wasn't a ladder match. Like some of the talent involved, I think it would have been a bit more of an interesting match. With
the amount of people though, it maybe helped, but
sure,
it was good, but like I don't think I'll ever watch this match or talk about it again. And I feel that a lot with ladder matches these days, but wasn't particularly surprised Starks and Bill retaining.
No, I think they have the titles until the best tag team in the world,
right?
The Golden Jets take it from them, which I think should be the next move. But yeah, I love all these teams involved, and it kind of shows like, hey, we got some crazy tag teams in here, but Big Bill and Ricky kind of retaining. I don't know what you do with some of these other.
We mentioned it the other week. I want to see Malachi in proper singles feuds now at this point, and maybe the Danielson thing
will
held it up a little, but I think you could have had just Brody, and you could have done Brody and Buddy in this instead, and had Malachi beat Claudio earlier in the night.
Yeah,
as a replacement for Danielson until he's and keep that feud alive, because they're kind of like hot and cold on that feud. It feels a little
I didn't know like kayfabe wise, it doesn't make sense that Malachi would be in this match or give a flying fuck about the tag titles at this point. So it just was weird that he was in this match for me, and then to not even win it is like, well, then kind of still fumbling Malachi Black. I think the House of Black is a huge faction and property for AEW. I think it gains a lot of fans. We go to how many shows we go to, and like majority of people are wearing the shirts or the flags even at All In. People were walking around with flags of House of Black. I was like, that's pretty crazy. And like they still just kind of remain an afterthought when I watch them.
It feels half baked.
Yeah,
it's it feels like and I felt this a lot with Malachi Black stuff. I feel he has these ideas, but we never know fully like what it is.
Yeah. So I want the singles match. Obviously, I hope he's in this tournament. But this ladder match was good, but it definitely wasn't anything that I'm like, wow, that like was the best thing I've ever seen. But still, like these guys were killing each other for our entertainment. As our washing machine keeps singing. My laundry's done. Julia Hart taking on Kris Statlander and Sky Blue. Statlander putting her TBS championship on the line in a 3-way here.
Kris Statlander.
Sorry, who did I say?
Yeah, it's Wikipedia's weird here because it's not listing the champions first. So
Kris Statlander putting the title on the line against the two goth chicks.
Yes,
who aren't together, like aren't as a team.
No. So was it Julia or some of the
Julia.
House of Black people spat mist in Sky Blue's eye, and
so she's
slowly becoming meaner and darker blue,
navy blue.
And she you know how bad she got today. She traded her hat for a spooky crown.
That was pretty funny, right? She comes out with her backwards cap and then she's throws it on the ground and stomps on it. Okay. Is like wrestling so easy to come up with? Like, okay, I'm going to change my character. Okay, what's your character going to like change into? What's it going to evolve into? I'm going to be, wait for it, spooky. What? Yeah. What are you going to do? I'm going to wear some face paint and I'm going to wear like darker.
Because they're like teasing if the mist is doing the same thing to her. It happened as happened to Julia. Remember her transformation was slow because she was still with Lexis King and Little Edge.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. But I agree. I just don't really care.
Yeah, I don't care about like these things.
And I think Sky Blue can be good. And I think she had more of a connection with the crowd when she was, the more of the skater girl
bubbly thing. Yeah, kind of weird. Yeah, it's like one day you're wearing Scooby-Doo gear and the next day you're like, no, I'm a goth queen. No, you're not. Watching a few horror movies doesn't make you goth or emo or anything. It's like watching this. I'm a big fan of Julia and Sky Blue and Statlander. And actually, this match had some good stuff in it. But watching two people who are not like they're feuding, I guess, Sky Blue and Julia, like you're both doing the same thing right now.
I like how Julia's been doing it though. I think Julia's really evolved for the better.
Yeah.
Her song is awesome.
She loves singing it, doesn't she?
I like it. I think it's pretty cool. And her looks great. And I think she's really stepped it up in ring as well recently. So
Julia beating them. Like,
I think it was the right move. Yeah.
So the finish came. Well, first of all, Sky Blue, I feuded days ago. I was like, man, she needs to retire that code blue because like every time she's doing it, it makes it look pretty bad. But then she definitely heard the haters, so hit one really big one here today. But
do a blue thunder bomb instead.
Do anything else and just call it that blue. You don't need to do this move because I've watched wrestling for a long time. It's a sunset flip.
Yeah,
just do another move. You're good. I think Sky Blue is awesome, but little things that annoy me. Something that didn't annoy me was Statlander continuing her random Ben Stiller tribute thing. She's wearing Dodgeball Globo Gym. She's coming out doing the Cobra in her entrance. So Ben Stiller's going to see this one again because he was a fan of the last one. But sad that Statlander lost. But I think
maybe you throw her into a feud with Toni down the line.
Sure.
I think we didn't need another like Jade length run with this title, and I think Julia Hart kind of makes sense. House of Black needs something.
So Julia,
I think she has stepped up and makes it a little bit more interesting.
Statlander hit she changed the name of Saturday Night Delight, or what did they call it?
So it's depends what day of the week she does it on.
Okay.
Saturday Night Fever.
Right.
Wednesday Night Fever, Sunday Night Fever.
Got you. So she hit the move and then Julia throws her out the ring and steals her pin and then gets the title. So good for Julia Hart. She's definitely stepped up, man. Like the improvement from her is fantastic. And she's got a cool hat that's got lights on it.
She does have a cool hat.
And then she's like celebrating, holding the title as she's just singing her theme song. She just really loves it. Great stuff. We go to our next match. Oh boy, can't wait to talk about this one. The Texas Death Match. Swerve Strickland taking on Hangman Adam Page. And this is a Texas Death Match, meaning that's a 10 count to answer to.
10 count or submission.
Or knockout.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Because Hangman submitted Mox, didn't he?
Got you. Right. Yeah, that's right. So this match, first of all, Swerve and Nana entrance with the like dancers doing all the dance was pretty funny.
I liked how like Nana's in the middle and like spins away, and then Swerve is just there looking mean.
It's cool. Yeah, it was pretty nice. Swerve.
It shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah.
Like it kind of makes Swerve feel more intimidating that everyone else is having a great time and he's just like pissed off and angry and evil.
Yeah. I loved their entrance here. I loved Swerve's gear, tribute to Terry Funk, rest in peace. But Hangman, didn't have time for an entrance. He was like, fuck you. You went into my house and, I'm still angry about that.
Yeah.
So that kind of does make sense. This guy's just been waiting, itching to hurt this guy. So he storms the ring, and this match starts with these two just absolutely killing each other from start to finish. They went almost 30 minutes, and it was one of the most brutal, violent matches we've seen, not just in AEW, but North American wrestling for I've never seen anything like this in WWE. They were using the staple gun. They were using the barbed wire across their faces and
the glass. There's that moment where Hangman's on the turnbuckle and it just gets caught across his eyes.
Oh, the barbed wire.
Yeah.
That one was very nasty. But I'd say the most nastiest spot is when Swerve is just leaking like a faucet, blood everywhere, and Hangman grabs his head and goes underneath him and lets all the blood dripping from Swerve's head go into Hangman's mouth. And then he stands up and he spits it in the air like Triple H. What a fucking badass dude. This was disgusting, and I absolutely loved it. Remember, this guy was a teacher.
Yeah.
This guy's the nicest guy, and then he's straight up murdering people. I don't think CM Punk watched this match, but he should.
Oh yeah, because Hangman's soft, right?
Yeah,
he's soft. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So Hangman just absolutely murdering Swerve here. I mean, both of them were just killing each other. You mentioned the glass. There was broken bottles that he got the stomp onto.
I think they also achieved what's difficult in this style of match, like last man standing matches and stuff, is to have near falls when it's a 10 count.
Yeah.
Obviously, just the cadence of 1, 2, kick out, you bite on it. It's really hard when it's 1.
They did a few,
and they had some that really got me going because you had finishes in this match. You had the buckshot lariat to barbed wire wrapped around the face. You had Deadeye on a barbed wire board.
Yeah.
You had all these things that you're like, that's the JML driver onto the glass. You had stuff that you were like, that's the finish. And they did such a good job of 9 and then just leaping to the ropes to hold themselves up or rolling to the outside
or
Nana saving.
I
thought they achieved that really well, which you don't get a whole lot in these style of matches.
It was just so violent. Obviously the staple gun is something we haven't seen in a lot of mainstream wrestling. It's been used in
and it was his kid's pictures.
Yeah. So he's got the finger paintings that his kid did, and he staples it.
Yeah, you like my kid so much? Fucking have this on your face.
Stapled it in his cheek. Yeah. So it was on his face. This is similar to me stapling that girl on Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Stapled a girl's boobs on Halloween.
I stapled a girl's boob on Halloween. That's a story.
We're all walking along. It's like, no, wait, guys. I'm like, what? I'm paying this girl to staple her.
This girl in this giant street party on Halloween when we were all dressed up as wrestlers. This girl had a sign. She was walking through the crowd, staple me. So I was like, she marked out at my costume. She's like, holy shit, this is amazing. She loved our costumes. And then she's like, I'm like, yeah, I'll staple you. She's like, you got any bills on you? I was like, yeah, here's a $5 bill. She's like, cool. Here's the staple gun. Staple me. And she's stapled her.
She's like, I normally take 20s, but sure.
So I stapled some money to her boob and then said happy Halloween.
Good
so
stuff. Good times.
Yeah, it was amazing. So he was stapling Swerve with this, and then the part that got me was when Swerve got hold of the staple gun and then started stapling himself. And of course, anyone could be like, he's not actually doing it, bro. There was huge staples in him, all over his body.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of where you fire up and just slap yourself in the face.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, come on, hit me.
Man, there was so much blood in this match. The ring ropes were covered in blood. The canvas was bloody.
This would have taken a while to clean up. They did a good job having it ready for the next match.
Oh, man.
This, just an absolute massacre. This
one of my favorite AEW matches for sure. Definitely saved this pay-per-view for me. I really love this match. It was so violent. I obviously can understand this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but Hangman is the king of the death match.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, he lost.
Yeah. I like that decision. I think we could still have a third, maybe.
What the hell are they gonna do? Murder each other?
I think it was great in putting over Swerve. Like, if you went 50-50, it'd be like, okay. But
yeah,
I think this worked. Hangman didn't look weak in defeat. Like, Mox losing to Hangman in the style, it didn't damage Mox.
Yeah.
It really puts over Swerve as a top guy. This guy should be champion within the year. Have him be the one. If you're keeping MJF babyface, like, have him the one to take it from him.
Honestly, I think I don't know if you can go back to these two right now, but Swerve has beat him, right? So like down the line, I think if Hangman ever were to be champion again, like in the next year or so, that Swerve is gripe is, hey, I've beaten you, and he should be the one to take it from Hangman. But that means Hangman somehow
they have amazing chemistry, and this does feel like could be generational rivalry. Now,
it was so good. Swerve is so good. We've been following him for a while, and like how WWE managed to muff this guy up.
And we knew he was capable of this. If you've seen that, what was it? Kill Shot versus who was AR Fox's character in Lucha Underground? But that match, we talked about it in our best match ever, Lucha Underground, or is it Up Yours? I think that match is wicked. Like AR Fox versus Swerve in a death match in Lucha Underground. Like, this guy's capable of this shit.
We've seen him, like, he's CZW. This guy was doing some insane stuff before ever, going to WWE or AEW. So like, he's been doing this nutso stuff. And here, him and Hangman had fantastic chemistry, and like the blood and the gore in this match was just top notch. So it was the highlight of the show easily for me. One of the best matches AEW's put out this year, like full stop. Like, this is
match of the year contender.
Of the year contender, and would not argue if anyone has picked this, because it's just so good and so different from a lot of other stuff that we watch from AEW. And like, I know that blood spot might get them in trouble or something because it's just so gross. But it is,
like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. It's not on TV or anything, so just don't replay it on TV, which I'm sure they won't. But this was phenomenal. And don't know where you go with this, because like Swerve, the momentum is like really behind, and he should be their top guy in like the upcoming year. Like some of the matches, like Swerve MJF, Swerve Ospreay, Swerve Kenny, there's some big ones that we could go to, but I think
Swerve Danielson.
This was the match that, like,
we had that, didn't we? But like,
proper. I think this was the match that made Swerve Strickland instantly. Like, obviously he's been a character in AEW for a while now, and definitely keeps getting better and better. But this was the moment.
I know people were kind of 50-50 on the like home invasion angle, but I think this justified it now.
Right.
Like,
why they wanted,
because it's like, okay, he wanted his spot. He won the match. Theoretically, he's got his spot now.
Yeah.
It's like, then why did you then go from something that was kind of, logical to a little like ridiculous with a home invasion? But you capitalize on a feud like this. You had Hangman be genuinely like pissed off and wanting to kill this guy. That bled through to this match as well. You see so many blood feuds that then start with a collar and elbow tie-up. And you're like, what?
Yeah, this one, the guy didn't even do his entrance. He just ran out there and attacked him.
And he's just in his like street gear as well.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, no more butterflies on these pants.
Yeah.
Love dark Hangman. Like when he goes into this next level, he's sadistic.
I read a bit of Swerve's interview with Fightful, and he was saying about how like some of the stuff Hangman brought up in his promo, he was like a little like, whoa, like, because he talked about what's kid being taken away or stuff like that, yeah. And like he brought up some real personal issues. And
way to go, Hangman.
but Swerve was like, that kind of like threw me a little and made me more fired up for this match. But he was like, but fair play, I said shit that Hangman didn't want to hear either.
Right.
Like being like, you've been lazy, you've kind of been getting soft in the belly and that kind of thing. Like, he's like, I said stuff I knew he didn't want to hear as well.
Sure.
Like, again, Punk, watch this. Like,
oh, you didn't like something he said?
Oh,
wow.
He's like, I'm trying to sell pay-per-views. Yeah, well, like, fucking, like, get in the trenches then.
yeah. This shows me that, like, Hangman definitely ain't soft. He was getting murdered in this, but can't say enough good things about this, and I can't wait to see where Swerve goes from here, because he's clearly like he needs to be a bigger key in AEW, a bigger focus going forward. And the same with Hangman. This definitely reinvented Hangman for me too. Like he has been chilling. I feel like this past year since the Punk stuff, it's affected him and affected views by fans of him and treating him differently.
Honestly, like since he won the title, compare MJF, and I know MJF's run hasn't been everyone's cup of tea. I would be a defender of it. Yeah. I think he does feel like a champion, whereas Hangman would be coming on at 9:00 for a promo, and you go, oh yeah, he's the champion.
Yeah,
like the focus, he won the belt, and then Danielson and Punk and all these other people come in, and
he got robbed.
He was an afterthought.
Yeah, he kind of got robbed of this.
You were building to this moment for so long, and then it just disappeared. And I think even though he's lost this feud, he's in a way better place now than he was.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I need to rewatch this because I loved it so much, and that's definitely a key element. And when you watch something so good, like, man, I just want to watch that again. So definitely can't wait. Well, we go from something so stomach turning to something else that turned some stomachs. The Young Bucks having some drama and issues with their friend Kenny Omega again and Chris Jericho, because the Golden Jets taking on the Young Bucks. And if the Golden Jets win, they get the Young Bucks title shot that they seem to forgot about. And if the Young Bucks win, the Golden Jets can never team ever again.
I was so rooting for the Young Bucks.
I know you were.
I fucking hate this name as
the
well.
Golden Jets? I love it.
Because neither Kota Ibushi is the golden one. It would be the Golden Jets if Kota Ibushi was with them.
Right.
Like they should have been called the Elite Jets
Elite Jets
to piss off the Bucks even more.
Right. Like, or just Kenny and the Jets.
Or just Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. Like fuck.
No, they gotta sell some t-shirts, man. I want that shirt. It's hilarious. The Golden Jets. Yeah, I might be the only Golden Jets fan out there, but I'm waving the flag proudly. Golden Jets, shout out Winnipeg and the Jets. So Jericho and Kenny taking on the Young Bucks. Definitely not up to par with the last few times Kenny's got to wrestle his friends, but I do love when Kenny and the Bucks are going at it, like in the ring. Like they're really so smooth. Like I felt like every time Jericho got in, it was like, all right, now that he's going to get beat up. And then Kenny comes back in, and there was like kind of rinse repeat a little bit. But there was some moments I still got into it, definitely, especially towards the end with Jericho doing some cool stuff when he went for the Judas effect and they super kicked his elbow and he's like, fuck. And then just and then hit the other one instead. I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed Matt Jackson hitting the one-winged angel on Kenny, which was like, what a dick move. But I think the Bucks are way better as a heel team. After seeing what happened with the finish here, it comes with the Bucks turning on Kenny, kind of kicking him in the nuts, which I think was an effectful thing. But I'm definitely over the Young Bucks getting angry at their friends and stuff. They didn't seem to give a fuck when Brian Cage was out there beating up Hangman.
No,
they didn't go out for the save then.
Or when someone threatened to kill his baby.
Yeah, so you're not really the best friends either, Young Bucks. But in the end, they tease Kenny might V-trigger Jericho, and the crowd really reacted like, oh shit, and then he didn't do it, and then it's the Jets who pick up the win here. But definitely not on par of some of the other ones. Yeah,
I didn't think a whole lot of this, to be honest. I think there's 4 good wrestlers in there, and the content was fine, but firstly, you're comparing it to the previous iterations of Kenny plus X versus the Bucks.
Right.
And this was nowhere near that level. And also, though the Ibushi feud and the Hangman feud had so much build to it before it happened. And this felt like 2 weeks ago, Tony Khan had his notepad and he was like, okay, I'm doing Moxley Cassidy 2. I'm doing Swerve Hangman 2. We know we've got Jay White and MJF. What am I doing with Jericho, Kenny, and the Bucks? There we go. Put them together. And then suddenly the Bucks are pissed off about something Jericho did 3 years ago to their dad. And
which I forgot about.
It just felt, which I don't mind being like, hey, we hate this guy. It just felt forced. And again, with Jericho and Kenny winning, it means we're going on with more tag stuff.
Yeah.
And it's I just want to see Kenny in singles feuds.
Yeah, I do.
You look back at this year and look at the Bucks and Kenny. you had Kenny with the Bucks for the best of 7 series. So like for weeks of just Kenny the Bucks and and the fucking Dragon Triangle, Death Triangle.
Yeah.
And then you had more elite stuff with Allin and Kenny and Kenny Coda and whatever. You had the Blood and Guts, which was the elite. You had a great Ospreay match stuck in the middle there somewhere. And then you went back to Kenny and Jericho. And what have the Bucks done?
Yeah.
This year.
I don't know what
the FTR match should have felt bigger than it was, but that felt like, hey guys, you know this is going to be good. But it had that weird cloud over it of, CM Punk. I just feel like 2023, apart from that Ospreay Kenny match, it's like these guys just feel like spare parts. And honestly, at this point, I think the Bucks should have just signed with WWE.
Like, I just don't know what they keep doing this thing where like, oh, Kenny, you're hanging out with this guy. Oh, Kenny. It's like, yo, like you've done it already. You've done it in this company.
It was the first story in AEW.
Yeah.
Really. Like before AEW started
doing stories.
TV, it was being the elite, Hangman going, I want to go on my own.
Right.
Oh, but you're a friend. Don't you want to be a friend? We're friends. And it's the only story they seem to know how to tell. And like,
well, okay, so after the match, they have a little bit of a temper tantrum, and they're throwing things around, and basically they flip off the AEW logo. So it's like they're turning heel or they're going away for a little while. I don't really know, but that should be the direction. They should just go full on asshole if that's the case. They should interfere in the Golden Jets match if they have a title shot and like beat the ever loving piss out of Kenny Omega.
Okay,
that's what they should have done.
I know Callis has been feuding with Jericho and Kenny, but that feud kind of felt like it ended with the street fight.
Yeah.
Do you see the Bucks joining Callis? Maybe.
Would that just be a little like too silly?
Going
a little back and forth? Yeah.
Maybe. But
like, look, I'm a Young Bucks fan, and I always have been and always will be. And even I'm now like, hey, like do something else. Be bad guys again. You're way better at it. You're way more fun to hate. Like it's
I think they've already announced the teams, but it would be kind of cool in a way if they were like, fuck AEW and they go off and do Tag League. To like disappear, have a bit of space for a bit and and then come back. But yeah, I'm curious. I think this is going to be a different heel run than we've seen before. Like in the heel run last time, it was all like the ridiculous facial hair, showing off the Jordans.
Yeah.
Like comedy heel stuff.
They were showing.
I don't think they're going to be doing that this time around. Which does intrigue me.
Like they're huge basketball guys and Cali guys. Obviously, they had the Kobe Bryant gear and then like wearing the Kobe shoes and everything like that. Yeah, if they go heel, like again, they're going to be it's fucked because they're going to go heel and then people be like, oh, now I like them again. That's just how That's just. But how
they should be heel and just be in like black tights and black boots. Like be.
Sure.
A bit more serious this time around because it's something we haven't ever really seen them do.
Because like, again, I am a huge elite dude and supporter and stuff, but part of me is like, man, you have like the guy of Kenny Omega. Like you have this guy who gets crazy reactions, who gets merch moved. And like, he is your superstar here that you just keep putting and burying on pay-per-views.
Like I want him in this Continental Classic.
He just definitely should be in this match.
Just to tease the idea that you could get Danielson Kenny too, to have, Kenny Andrade, Keddy Eddie, Keddy Eddie. But yeah, like it's just, I see it as soon as Starks and Big Bill retained, it was like, okay, it makes sense now for Kenny and Jericho. You can see Jericho and Starks going, oh, we've had that feud already, haven't we?
Right.
So they're going to go back and forth again. But
yeah, again, I didn't necessarily hate this match. I still got into it. Don't get me wrong, but it does make me just go, man, like Kenny fought MJF on a random collision a few weeks back, and it was like, why wasn't that the pay-per-view match for tonight? Instead, we got this other one that didn't hit for me, which is the main event.
Before we go to the main, should we go over like the other news that came into this show, like Ospreay?
Oh, right. Sorry, I completely skipped over that. Yeah. The obviously the guy they bring in is Will Ospreay, bruv. He's all elite. And
but let me fucking finish though, bruv. All right. I'm contracted to New Japan. until January. So fucking let me finish, bruv. All right. I'm sorry. I know you want to see me wrestle right now, but I'll be back. All right. But I'm signing today, but I've got my obligations, bruv.
I think this guy is an incredible wrestler, but every time he talks like this, I keep liking him more of like this character. I love the character now that he has become, and couldn't say that about a year or so ago. But I think I'm a big fan of the bruv shit and being like that. What
I like about it, and I know it turns off a lot of people.
Yeah.
But as a Brit, what I can't stand in wrestling is you're British and you're either William Regal sipping on where Regal is from. They don't talk like he talks there.
Right.
They're not respectfully, they're not posh. But it's like, oh, you're British. Oh, you should be posh and sip on tea and eat crumpets. You're either that or you Americanize yourself a little bit, like we hear from a Nick Aldis or a Drew McIntyre, where it's like, and I'm gonna kick your ass. So we don't say that. So it's refreshing hearing and you've been there now.
Yeah.
And you've seen outside
people sound like
outside
this guy.
Trinity Bar. Glass me, bro. Glass me,
people,
bro.
The haircut, the fucking outfits,
this is what British people are like. And it's kind of cool to see people. And this is a sport simulating fights. This is how someone would talk in a fight.
Right.
They're not going to go, oh, and I'm going to smack your bottom, boy. They ain't going to talk like that. It's going to be, going to fucking fight you, bruv. Glass me.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoy it. I think it stands out more than a lot of other promos, and the way he talks definitely is I didn't think he sounded this way a year or so ago. I felt like he was still a kid and doing silly stuff and saying stupid stuff. I'm sure he'll say some stupid stuff going forward in the future, but it's interesting to me. It's almost like you don't know what he's gonna kind of say because he doesn't give a fuck. It seems that way because he's just always saying shit that's like, wait, what? Loved that he's the guy. Obviously, I see him eventually going to WWE in whenever this is up, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it may be. But he's still able to do New Japan stuff while being here. He'll still be able to pop in and out of whatever he wants, essentially. So really excited about this. I'm sure he's getting paid a lot of money. And obviously right away, he's out there to be like, oh, and I'm wrestling at Wembley. So buy those tickets next week when they go on sale, please. So, if you're Tony, it's like, what do you want? Give you Wembley, give you the title, give you whatever you want.
Thought they might be announcing him for because he's not involved in Tag League. So his next New Japan, I think, is stuff around Wrestle Kingdom. So there was a way, I think, you could have had him in the tournament they're doing. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, maybe you're getting World's End, Danielson, Ospreay, although it feels bigger than the end of, I feel that's something you could do down the line.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I think it kind of sort of got leaked in the last couple of days that this seems to be what it is. But this was a Tony Khan tweet that, made sense.
Yeah.
He was respected by pretty much everyone in ring. You're there aren't many Will Ospreay in-ring haters out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Love this. I love that he's going to be coming in. So obviously in a few months, he'll be more of a regular here, and that'll help people tickets.
From what he said, it sounds like he's relocating to the US. So he was like, I'll be on the road, So,
I mean, I'm sure he'll be on the road, but I have he probably still somewhat, maybe he would, but love that he's coming in here. Just think at the presser afterwards, he was naming some people he would like to wrestle. You need Miro, Andrade, Swerve, Kenny again. He says he needs that third match. I wonder if that's the Wembley match. But I'll tell you, if you just told me, hey, look, Ospreay versus Danielson's the match, then fuck, you need to book a flight.
You've had 2 weeks back to back, both saying, I'm going to be at Wembley.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was the announcement from Eddie with the Continental Classic that he's going to be putting his ROH title and New Japan Strong Openweight title on the line in every match in the Continental Classic. And the winner of the tournament will be crowned the new Triple Crown champion. So it will be Continental Classic, ROH, and New Japan Strong. So it sounds like the ROH title's no more.
Okay.
It's gonna
hold on a second. It's Eddie Kingston. So first of all, does he know what titles he's holding?
He did yesterday. Yeah.
I don't know. So when he's like, and there's going to be a new title, it's like, are you fucking serious right now? What do you mean there's another title? Because the way he said it, Continental Championship. I'm like, fuck me. Like, come on, dude.
It's not adding a title though, because you're consolidating.
What are you gonna do? Why are you allowed to get rid of the New Japan Strong thing? They just are like,
it's not even the New Japan Strong
the fuck
main
is it,
title.
Then? Throw it in
it's
the bin.
Secondary.
Doesn't
They
give
are.
okay.
That's exactly what they're doing, Braden. That's what this announcement
But New Japan is like cool with that. They're like, yeah, we can get rid of it. Like, it's their title.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, whatever.
It's,
like that.
It's like their last title.
I hate all this Ring of Honor fucking bullshit. I'm so over it. I could give two fucks about Ring of Honor. I don't watch it. I love the wrestlers. It's giving them jobs and opportunities, but you're fucking joking if people actually care about this show. I think it's so stupid. This guy's walking around with two titles that don't mean anything. I'm less interested in Eddie Kingston as I've ever been. I could not stand the whole thing with Ring of Honor this, and then I'm watching Dynamite and the Gates of fucking whatever they are win the triple tag Ring of Honor. Fuck it. Like, Tony, throw it all away. Like, throw it all away. Get rid of it.
That's literally what this
good.
promo
Get
was.
rid of it. I could not give a fuck anymore. It's literally the worst shit when I watch this show. I'm like, you fucked up buying Ring of Honor, doing this, thinking that, hey, this could be my second show or whatever. And they didn't want that name attached to it. They want your own brand. And I think that maybe he's finding out that let's just move away from that. I think they'll keep Ring of Honor as a show. It could be easily your NXT. You could easily still have people watching that show. There's some people that are interested in it, but like mixing it into your like show the way they've been doing is so aggravating as a fan.
Well, this I'd be interested what they do moving forward, because it is consolidating their titles, right? You're getting rid of like two.
So wait, so if Eddie Kingston faces,
there's no more ROH title after this.
Is what he's basically saying?
It's becoming a Triple Crown championship.
But like, why does New Japan Strong never open weight count as a Triple Crown? Like, no one cares about that title. I didn't even know it was a title until Eddie won it.
But they're getting rid of it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So weird.
Like, I don't know. I think this might be a way of like slowly possibly getting away from Ring of Honor stuff.
I mean, Joe got rid of his title. He's like, this title sucks. I don't want it. But then he helped MJF win.
I was surprised when they announced they are doing like a 6-man thing to crown a new TV title. I thought you should have just dropped this title as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether this is going to be something that is now, it's basically the title defended across AEW, ROH, and New Japan. Maybe. Yeah. Is what they're doing.
Very bizarre. I think this has hurt. I think Ring of Honor stems a lot of the issues that caused AEW without Tony realizing kind of he got cornered there by accident. Like, he went, oh, I'm trying to do good things, but it ended up kind of biting him in the butt a little bit, because like I am someone, I have to watch AEW every week. It's my favorite show to watch. I love it. We do podcasts about it. It's great. But something that definitely, like, as a fan, I don't like is the Ring of Honor stuff. And like, I'm done with it very much so. So if they are getting rid of the titles, get rid of it all at this point. But you're telling me that if Eddie Kingston faces Miro in this Continental tournament next week, Miro could beat him for the Ring of Honor title?
For both of them, yeah.
It's just weird that, like, wait, someone's going to be Ring of Honor champion to retire it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then is Eddie winning this thing? And that just,
no.
like, I don't
see Eddie going to the final.
No.
Eddie drops this on the way.
So who the hell is going to be?
And then you'll have Danielson as your Triple Crown
Danielson
champion.
should retire the Ring of Honor title. Yeah, that'll be the right way. Yeah. Or Nigel gets in there. I felt like I'm just ripping on Ring of Honor, but it genuinely is like, sorry, you're talking about this title and then this title. You don't even know what title you hold, and you're talking about it. It's like so many things going on, and trying to, like, I had some friends over last night watching. We're all like, sorry, what the fuck is he saying? Like, there's another title now, and like, I could be on my own, but like, I am very like, what? Let's just drop it all. Like, move away from it. Which that's what they're doing. Good for them. But then you're right. They're still announcing TV title tournament. They're still in like all this other stuff. So very bizarre. But maybe it'll lead to proper good things.
I'm looking forward to the tournament.
Absolutely.
I enjoy round robin point style tournaments.
So yeah, it's like
There's
the G1.
more you can do with it than a bracket style.
Yeah,
it's like the G1, and they need some sort of something to win, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a title shot, but yeah, I I hope they do something a bit more interesting with like what this, because the international title seemed to be, when Pac had it, it was one he could defend in the UK and stuff like that. They kind of got away from that.
Yeah.
But it does feel like with Orange Cassidy as your champ and the Mox feud, it does feel like the second most important title in AEW right now. So I think they've done a good job. I think if this is a title you can put on the road a bit more and it's defended, and maybe the deal is, you could have someone in New Japan win the Triple Crown Championship and it's just in New Japan for 6 months.
Right,
and then,
right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be like a regularly featured one. And I think that would be more interesting if you have it dropped to fucking whoever.
Yeah. There's already way too many titles. So like I moving away and getting rid of them is good, but you're telling me you're doing that by adding another title. It's like, oh my God, what's going on? This is all props for this show. When it's like, hey, what if Eddie just said, I'm these champions. I don't really need this one. I don't really need this one, but I want to win this thing. And like, I don't know, but I'm sure we're going to get some amazing matches, hopefully, out of this. And going forward, it will be good. And I'm sure they haven't announced everyone who's in it, right? Just yet. But it starts this week, right?
It starts this week. They've just announced Danielson, Andrade, Eddie, and have they announced Miro?
I don't know.
But yeah. They're the only three I'm aware of.
Okay, cool.
But Danielson wasn't even cleared to fly the other day. He drove to Dynamite for that announcement.
Jeez. This guy's wrestling.
He thinks he's going to be cleared to wrestle.
This guy's going to wrestle.
Probably wrestle at World's End and then Okada 4 days later.
This guy's insane.
Yeah.
This guy's insane.
God bless him.
Yeah, bless him. But like, holy shit. All for our entertainment. Speaking of the main event of Full Gear, MJF. Oh, no, sorry. Adam Cole versus Jay White. So MJF got taken to the hospital and Adam Cole said, I'm not going to let them. They tried to vacate the title mid-show where Tony Schiavone's like, oh, I hate to do this, but Jay White's the new champion. What? How in any world does that make sense? Where they're just like, well, you were going to fight for it, so here you go.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
Yeah.
TK. Come on, man. That was lazy as fuck.
Like, the thing is as well, it's the title, it's normally, they've kind of got away with that. Maybe it used to be more of a WWE thing, but if it wasn't defended within 90 days or something like that, it's vacated. And we've seen in the AEW themselves have created interim titles when someone's been injured.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So the fact that MJF defended on, was it Wednesday?
Yeah.
He last defended the title?
Yeah.
He defended the title on Wednesday. And 3 days later, you hurt.
You're in an ambulance.
Your year-long reign is over.
We don't even know if you're injured yet because you're still on your route to the hospital. They haven't even fully checked you out yet. But you know what? You're
and it doesn't mean it's not even like we're announcing it's now Jay White versus X for an interim championship. It's like no main event. It's just
so stupid, man. So stupid. So then Adam Cole comes out, who's on crutches, and is like, nah, I'll fight you. So I'm thinking, what in the fucking WCW is going on with this shit? And then Britt Baker had a great tweet last night. She's like, they had security guards trying to stop MJF from coming back, right, for this match when he's coming back. And they're like, no, you can't. You're hurt. But Adam Cole, who's in a cast, they're like, yeah, hit his music. Tony Khan goes out of his way to try to make someone asked him like, hey, how come you didn't suspend Swerve, right? Kayfabe wise, Tony Khan's like, well, I thought and like make sure he tries. Why is there a camera there, right? He's always like, there's a camera there for a reason. He tries to like make things seem like real as possible, but in doing so, he misses other things that don't make any logical sense. And I thought that this was one of those cases. So Adam Cole comes out and he's gonna wrestle. He's got a beard. He's got his cast.
I love the. Like, he's not tanned either. He's not hit the tanning bed.
I don't think he ever hit the
No, I mean, he's been more tanned than this, for sure. Like, he looks like, he's just been in his room playing video games.
Playing Halo.
Yeah.
So Adam Cole comes out, makes his entrance, and is ready to face Jay White. And then the ambulance hits, and out comes MJF driving the ambulance. And he's like, no, I got to defend my title. So MJF comes out and wrestles the match. And for anyone who was like, oh, I've never watched Jay White in New Japan, what was he like? Here you go. You finally got the hour and a half long Jay White pay-per-view main event. MJF and Jay White, I think I would have preferred just an actual match because Jay White actually is pretty good wrestler. Mm-hmm. But here the story was, my leg is injured and I'm going to sell it when I feel like selling it, but I'm going to jump off the top rope through like all these things. I didn't enjoy this main event, to be fair. I really love MJF. He is the guy here. There was stuff in the match I liked when it came to the actual wrestling with him and Jay White doing some moves and stuff, really got into it. But the whole time I'm like, okay, well, why is Adam Cole here still? He's on crutches. And I really did not like sitting through this the whole time. Was just so dragging on considering the run MJF has had. He's put on some incredible stuff. I mentioned he had that collision match with Kenny a few weeks ago. Much preferred that. That would have been a better storyline. The storyline going into this is also on his tights that if I retain this title, I've had the title for a year, longest reigning and like crazy kind of thing. When I think that could have just been more of the story. Like, holy shit, if I beat this guy, like I'm going to have the title for a year. I don't know. There could have been a few other stories. And I thought the one they picked made me way less interested in the match. And it just felt like it kept going and going and going. So wasn't a huge fan of this.
I completely disagree.
Wow.
To start with, we had a different experience watching this. You were watching this at close to midnight last night.
Sure.
I was working, so I watched it today.
It felt like they ended before midnight though, right? They usually go a little later, no?
It said, no, it's normally at midnight. Okay. They finish. Going into this match, I was going, look, I think technically this is going to be a good match, but we know Jay White ain't winning this.
You're right.
Okay. So the whole thing with Adam Cole, and I think the touch of the beard and the pale skin and the cast and all that, people have been questioning the validity of this injury because of the whole devil thing. Who's the devil? Is it Adam Cole? That kind of thing. So I'm going into this, watching this going, okay, what are they doing here? Are they going to do, I am actually healthy and it's a swerve? Are they going to do some WCW bullshit where, like Jay White just lays down and Adam Cole pins him and he's like, haha, fuck you, Max. I'm the champion. I'm the devil.
Right.
There's all this stuff that are like, as you said, red herrings. And then you get to the match. I agree with you about the kind of first portion of the match. It was way too story driven and like leg selling for me. After about like the 10-minute mark, I really got into it. And I bought that Jay White could be winning this more than I would have if they hadn't done this stuff. Because I'm now going, you have the the tag title shot to the head from when Jay White takes it off of Adam Cole. Adam Cole pausing, not going, like teasing he's going to hit Jay White and not going for it, and Jay White grabbing it from him. It kind of was like the sort of Santos Escobar, Logan Paul thing where you go, okay, did he mean to give him the title? Stuff like that. Yeah. So I kind of bid on that. You had the similar thing with the ring later on. So for me, there were more times in this match where I bought Jay White potentially winning than I think I would have otherwise. And I bit on the near falls. I thought there were some great spots, some great counters in this match. I think Jay White's played a really good heel. I haven't liked the stealing the title thing, but I think he's elevated himself to that main event level pretty quickly, considering how much they fumbled his 2 debuts in this company.
Yeah.
So I liked it. This was my second favorite match on the show.
Okay.
I really bought into the story. I know the sports entertainment thing isn't everyone's cup of tea. For me, it's not gone too far yet. I've been saying I haven't been overly into the devil stuff because I don't think they've necessarily gone about it the right way, because it should have been MJF being the one that's targeted, whereas it's just been Jay White and the Acclaimed. So I don't think this devil's been too dastardly. But then again, with Cole maybe potentially helping Jay White, I'm going, well, Jay White did just come back from that attack like right away. So maybe it was just
a faked attack.
And Adam Cole's been with Jay White the whole time.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I'm watching this match and I've got all these questions going through my head as I'm watching it, which kind of did at least achieve for me getting more invested in it. So, and I wasn't bothered that we didn't get the devil reveal. I think that is something we can continue
Still
with. And I think you still come out of this going, okay, well, maybe Adam Cole is okay. And he was planning on wrestling this match and winning the title. But MJF happened to come back and he's like, fuck.
So wait, are we not going to get the reveal until Adam Cole is healthy in fucking 2025? Because I don't think I think obviously, like, part of me was like, okay, you really want to swerve me? Take that boot off and you have gear on underneath and you're actually wrestling. Like, that's the only like thing that would have genuinely got like a reaction that I think they were trying to go for by doing all these bells and whistles on this. But like, this was two guys who are insanely talented in ring and like top of the game. Specifically, MJF has just like had an insane year, but not one of his defenses I thought he was losing the title. Danielson in an Iron Man hour-long match when Danielson's like, I don't even want the title. Cool. Why am I watching this pay-per-view? MJF versus some three jobbers, definitely not losing the title. Versus Jay White, the guy whose storyline is I stole your title, not losing the title. So it didn't matter what any of the stuff. I kept thinking, there's no way they're giving it to Jay White because he's Jay White. There's just no way. So,
but there was no point in this that the story made you think potentially they could?
For me, no, not at one point. I was watching this like, can we just end this thing? Like, holy shit, it's just like going on so long. And I do think Jay White is great. I have watched some of his matches where I'm like, yeah. So I didn't quite get that either. So I felt robbed watching this because I wanted MJF versus Jay White. Instead, it was MJF on the ground being stomped on the leg for so long. And then he went, actually, I'm going to do a fucking jump off this thing. And it's just, I felt very like, I felt like a little, they were doing too WCW stuff of maybe not even sure what they're doing is what I'm gathering from watching this. Cause it's like, cool, Adam Cole is there, but he actually is injured. So you can't actually do any like, I'm expecting him doing the Kevin Nash, right? Where he's like, and I'm not actually injured and gets up, but like you can't because he's actually injured. So
I really liked it. The elbow drop off the top, I thought was ridiculous.
To his injured leg.
Yeah, but the story is, it's like, I've got to do these things to try and retain it.
Sure.
Like you do, like, I've done like, theater with an injured foot and you battle through it. You battle through the pain. You don't just, you're hurt. You don't go around limping the entire time. Like you work with it. Adrenaline pulls you through that leaping cutter to the floor. I thought
that was sick.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy. Definitely woke the crowd up because
I do agree with the first like 10 minutes of the match. I was annoyed at the beginning of this match, but they completely got me by the midpoint of this.
Because even afterwards,
and for me, it was head and shoulders above everything else on the show apart from that Texas Death.
Like afterwards, it felt like everyone in the crowd was like, "All right, something's gonna happen," and then MJF is just like, "Thanks," and then everyone's like, "Oh," you could see people in the crowd like, "Oh, what? That's it? Oh, okay." And I felt a little that way. I think now having this feud over, I'm just happy because I want to move away from the Bullet Club guys and MJF. It feels like they've announced this match like months ago. And then
it was 6-week build.
Yeah. Not the best build for a main event title match, but
then the criticism has been in the past. They've been telling us the match is a week before.
Yeah.
Like I do think there was we've seen a kind of change and not everything's worked, but as soon as that last pay-per-view ended, they kind of got some ducks in a row for this one of like, what are the stories?
I like that. Yeah.
A lot of criticism was all in and all out. We're like, what the fuck are the matches?
Yeah.
We've got a stadium show coming up in 2 weeks and we don't know what the matches are.
Yeah.
So I think it's finding that balance. I think there is something you can do kind of in between. I think it does kind of muddy it when you're having a match like Kenny and MJF 2 weeks before this one.
Yeah, which is way better than this match. So I think this was a lower pay-per-view for AEW. I think on the lower end, definitely not their worst because Hangman Swerve was one of the best matches of the year. So definitely raises that up. But everything else on it felt like it was a bit of a dynamite for me, wrestling wise. But I still enjoyed watching it, but definitely comparing it to some of their other pay-per-views was not on that kind of level. But
Cage Match has it at 6.94. I agree. I don't think it wasn't like banger after banger after banger by any means. I I did really enjoy Orange Cassidy versus Mox. That Texas Death match is one of the matches of the year, and I think I am in the minority with the main event. But yeah, definitely not one of their strongest shows, but I still enjoyed it.
So who's the guy to take it off MJF now?
So we've got Joe as the next challenger, right?
I assume
do you think that's Winter is Coming, or do you think it's World's End?
I assume that's World's End, and I assume Wardlow is Winter is
Coming. Okay.
So both, again, it's like, oh, he's not losing it to Wardlow, but there's maybe Joe, but still don't really see that the direction that they would go with. But they've definitely been stretching the Joe thing out, and I really loved their first match. Yeah. So like, would be interested to see it happen again. But
I see it maybe being like, I'd love to see Swerve be the one to take it. It's, you kind of feel with this devil thing that it should be, I guess, him that should be the ultimate final boss.
Yeah.
But
I loved Orange Cassidy at the presser. I just watched some clips of some of the stuff some of the guys had to say, and they were talking about Orange Cassidy. He's like, yeah, I want to defend this belt like I did before, just not against Swerve or Hangman, please. I do not want to do any of that shit.
Nice.
So that's fun.
Was there anything else of note coming out from the presser?
Ospreay was there. He said he wanted to wrestle a bunch of guys. MJF was crying. He was saying like, hey, I really love this. I really love being this guy. I've never done this before, being, I guess, babyface and stuff. Yeah. And saying that he loves AEW and that Tony Khan better pay him a lot of money because he wants to stay here, but kind of teasing. Yeah. I think he's signed. I don't think Tony would be.
It is something that it was a story they were building up and then for a long time. And then he's kind of just naturally become this babyface.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it's, you can't do the, like,
I'm getting out of here.
He's not even the CM Punk anti-heel babyface where he's leaving. It's just like, it's so I think it makes sense that they've dropped it. It's just a shame when they build it up for quite a while.
Yeah, yeah. I see him staying. I see him being like the next year. I see this is on the up for AEW. I know the past few months people have kind of criticized them, saying they're kind of in the dumps right now, but they still put on amazing matches and entertaining stuff. And I think having your Ospreys, your Danielsons, your MJFs, Kenny, all these people used properly, like, should produce some good stuff. So going forward, like, I hope they step it up a tiny little bit. And I think they will with the tournament thing, with the Sting thing. They're thinking of other things to do than just, hey, Garcia's going to face someone on Dynamite and it's going to be good and you're going to love it. It's like, no, do a bit more. And I think they are starting to do that. So even though I was mixed
I think feelings, all that stuff, it's like, for the longest time, wrestling fans weren't getting the wrestling they wanted to see on TV. That itch has been scratched a long time ago now. Yeah. So I think that's why they've been leaning a bit more sports entertainment. And it's just not everyone's taste. It's like it's difficult. You need stories to get you invested in matches.
Hire writers.
But yeah, it's the kind of stories you're telling that don't always connect.
Yeah.
And Swerve Hangman clearly did. The MJF one obviously hasn't with a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm looking forward to, as I am, Dynamite this week to kind of see what the next, because after a pay-per-view, they're good at like resetting and kind of onto the next one. So World's End is the next pay-per-view. That's at the end of December. So you got about
another 5-6 weeks away.
Yeah, that's all right. And I could see MJF versus Joe being at that one. Maybe Golden Jets versus Big Bill.
Sure.
We'll see. Yeah. So that was Full Gear. Some mixed feelings there, but briefly, the talk of the town of Ring of Honor is their champions pretty much saying, I don't want this title anymore. But Ronda Rousey also coming in on Friday night after Collision and Rampage went off the air. They brought her in for the taping. So that will air this week. What people are reporting as a handshake deal, where she's just like, yeah, I'll come in there and do it. As much as I'm not a Ronda Rousey fan in the terms of sports entertainment, like, I think it's still it's a name, it might not matter to some of us, but it would matter to some other people who are just like, oh shit, it's Ronda Rousey.
It's definitely, I think, out of curiosity, people will sign up to Honor Club to watch this. I think wrestling fans want to know, like, you care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think Logan Paul, for an example, is someone who, when he came in, everyone's like, oh, fuck this guy. He's just trying to, use WWE to get even more famous. And then it's clear watching his promos and his matches that he cares about wrestling and wants to be good.
He was just on Good Morning America being interviewed.
Right.
Holding the U.S. title the whole interview. Right. Being asked serious questions about things, and he's holding the U.S. title. I was dying.
And I think you hear a lot from wrestling fans, I don't like the guy, but I respect him now.
Yeah.
And I think Ronda, when she came into WWE in that first run, initially had that respect. She had that great tag match at WrestleMania. She had some good singles matches too, and people were like, okay, she clearly cares. Like she says Rowdy Roddy Piper's my favorite wrestler and saying all the right things. And then it soured. Like Becky Lynch just like became a superstar, and it just therefore made the fans pick Becky over Ronda, and Ronda seemed to take that personally.
Ronda also, like, in her promos and videos she was posting online, was like shitting on wrestling.
It was around that time because like the fans were starting to boo her because she wasn't Becky Lynch, you know? Yeah. And I think that soured a lot of people. And then certainly this last run where she came in and she just didn't look like she wanted to be there at all.
Yeah.
And I think she lost a lot of her like luster, her star power, and people were kind of like, fuck Ronda Rousey. So, you know, her doing stuff like random indie shows to tag with her friend and not doing, I'll do a AEW Dynamite match, being, sure, I'll do Ring of Honor. I think people go, oh, she just wants to wrestle.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And so I think it's this rehab thing. It's kind of, you know, her dipping her toes in the water, being like, okay, do I like working with this Tony Khan guy? What is this locker room like? Do I want to do this? And I think it's going to be better for her than her just randomly debuting as a big deal on Dynamite and all the fans being like, oh, fuck this. She just, WWE doesn't work and she just comes here now. Yeah. I think you'd have had a lot more negativity. So it is quite interesting.
Yeah, the way they brought her in isn't like she was the signing on this pay-per-view or anything. Like that would have made me go, fuck that. But instead I'm like, okay, hold on. You've been doing some indie shows. Maybe you're still interested in this. Maybe WWE didn't work because of some grievances there and you just are interested in this. And maybe some of the other girls and women you're wrestling with now are like, hey, let's do some stuff. Let's make some matches. And I think it could work as much as I didn't give a fuck about Ronda Rousey in WWE for the past like few years. Yeah. So I think it is something that, it's not just, she's in AEW now. So now I'm a fan of her because I love AEW. It's not that either. It's like, hold on, let's kind of see. Cause they didn't just necessarily go, hey, this is our new signing and this. They didn't do that. So we'll see. We could be in a few months being like, oh, I'm glad she's gone, or she's here, or wow, she really improved, or who knows. We'll see.
Or she might not even do anything else after this.
Yeah, it could be that. That was it.
I really wanted to tag with Marina Shafir.
Yeah, she got to get ready for UFC 300. She's got to get in the octagon again.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think she will be, but doing that. But yeah, some other quick things before we get out of here. Dynamite this week, leading into Full Gear, had the Golden Dragon fucking Sega. I don't even remember what it was called, but that thing. Kota Ibushi riding a bicycle only to get fucking destroyed by Brian Cage is one of the best clips I've seen in so long.
I just wish he used that
pole. Bunk, bunk.
I showed someone it, and as he's like tapping people, he's like, yeah, this is why I don't like this shit. And then he got clotheslined and he was like, okay, that looks pretty good.
I absolutely loved that match, if you want to call it that. And I love how Big Show and his knees didn't get past the entrance ramp and then got slammed. So like as silly and stupid as like a lot of people I'm sure thought, I think it did justice for Will Hobbs because you got that clip of him like destroying this guy.
For sure.
And then on this pay-per-view, they're like, Paul White's out of action. Was he in action before this match? I don't know.
I think that's got to be his like.
That's it.
Right off forever now.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
It's like when he did that to Kurt Angle in SmackDown. He threw Kurt Angle off something and injured him. So it should be the same thing. Can't really remember much else from Dynamite other than the Swerve stuff with Hangman. That was also good. But as silly as that match was, like, it had my attention because it was just so ridiculous. But
well, we kind of got to get out of here because we're going to see Demand Lucha in an hour. So we got to wrap this up immediately. But we'll chat all WWE, Survivor Series predictions, all that on Tuesday on the Post Wrestling feed, youtube.com/postwrestling. Check out everything we got going on the Patreon at patreon.com/Poisonrana. And you still have time to get your tickets for our Survivor Series watch party next Saturday at poisonrana.ca.
Yes, check out everything. Follow us on the socials and check out our Patreon shows because, like I said, it's how we keep the lights on, and we want to keep doing this. And if no one starts signing up to our Patreon anymore, we'll just stop. Is that what you want? Yeah. Is that what you want, people? Yeah. For us to stop reviewing silly movies and wrestling? Well, we won't. So patreon.com/poisonrana, $5 a month. Sign up. What are you waiting for? I myself, Braden Herrington, Twitter, Instagram, @TheBrady.
And I am at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And I love you.
Ahoy!
Poisonrana.